spots all over my forehead, like dot to dot all over my forehead. And I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm eating good. When I drink a green juice, I feel relaxed. I'm kind of using God, basically. So yeah, I don't wear deodorant anymore. But what I have noticed from not wearing deodorant, which I don't like it. It doesn't go with the brand. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are good and I hope you're doing well. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I've sat down, talked to you guys, caught you guys up. Happy New Year, first of all. I can't believe we've come this far. Like, it is 2024. I feel like 2014 wasn't that long ago. I don't know if it's just me, but these years, they're just flying by. Today, I wanted to just have a little chin wag, catch you guys up on what's going on with me, and also talk about the things I've noticed about myself physically and about myself mentally since choosing to eat more plant-based food. And when I talk about plant-based food, I'm not talking about vegan burgers or like all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about real plants, raw plants, and I've been doing so for coming up to 3 years. So I'm going to explain to you guys the positives, the negatives, changes I've noticed in myself, and all that good stuff. But before we get there, what's been going on with me? So 2023, woo chile, it was a tough year. I can't lie, it was a hard year, but I do think I learned a lot during the trials of 2023, and the trials, trust me, they were there. That was part of the reason why I wanted to end the year going on holiday and just having a good time, because I felt like, bruh, I deserved it, because that year, bas bus, like I really needed the break. So I went to Dubai. I spent Christmas in Dubai. I spent 2 weeks there, and it was just such an amazing trip. It was a solo trip, so I had the liberty to do what I wanted, when I wanted it, and it was just so good. Hence the tan. I don't know if you guys can notice, I have a, my skin is chocolate, like it's glowing, like it's, yeah. I really don't want it to go away. I love how my skin looks. It's just gorgeous. But yeah, so I went on holiday, and it really just gave me time to reflect on the year, time to re-strategize and kind of like regroup and figure out what I want to change, what I want to keep. I wrote down the things that I learned, the lessons that I learned, and what I would be doing moving forward. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to God for all the lessons that I learned. Grateful to God for all the lessons that I keep learning. It's just more so trying months in 2023, but I was able to learn like how I cope with trials and tribulations, and it definitely taught me so much about myself. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed your 2023. I don't know what happened in your life, but I hope it was good either way. And if it wasn't good, it's just a lesson. Just see it as that. I feel like life is just one big lesson that the test never stops. Like, there's gonna be tests all the time, so there's never gonna be a year where everything's just cushy and and if there is, great, but you don't learn in comfortability. You learn in struggles, you learn in trials. I'm grateful either way. But anyway, that's me. So definitely comment down below, tell me what you did for Christmas, New Year's, whatever. Let's have a little chin wag. But I wrote down the things that I was gonna talk about today, the things that I've stopped doing since going plant-based, and the things that I've adopted since going plant-based. So just a bit of background on me, in case you're new here, in case you don't understand what's going on here. I decided to eat more plant foods coming up to 3 years ago, and that decision was made because of multiple different reasons, but mainly because I just had surgery to remove cysts from my ovaries, and it left my body just feeling insane. Like, I think 2020 was the year where I was like so sick. I've never been so sick in my life like I was in 2020. From having that surgery, it just kind of lit my mind into understanding that the way I was living my lifestyle essentially wasn't good for, one, my physical health, and two, my mental health. So I came across a video on YouTube called, I can't remember what it's called. I think it was actually What I Eat in a Day, which is kind of crazy. But it was by a doctor called Dr. Aris Latham. And from that video, it was just a light bulb moment. I literally went back home. I was on the train when this happened. I was going to do my hair. And I came back home, bin bag, threw away all the processed food, threw away all the junk food, crisps, biscuits, drinks, everything. I just threw it away. I said, from now on, every time I go food shopping, I am buying fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. I had a plan. Like, I was really sticking by that thing. And when I started it, I never ever saw it as a diet. I really just saw it as, I'm gonna change my life. Like, I'm really gonna change my life, and this is gonna be life changing. And I also saw it like a challenge. Like, I wanted to prove to myself that this is something that's doable. So I started doing that in May of 2021. And by like July, like the results were showing. I slowly started to incorporate the gym. And yeah, it was just such a good time that I was like, there's no way, there's no going back. Like, I feel like once you go plant-based, and when I say plant-based, I mean real plant foods, like eating real raw fruits and vegetables, it's very, very, very hard for you to go back to the other side and just eating junk food and not eating your fruits, not eating your vegetables. It's very hard for you to eat things like without knowing the impact it's having on your body. Even if I do eat like bad food, I know the impact it's having on my body. So if you know better, you do better. That's kind of how I came into like eating more plant-based foods. And the other day I was reflecting and I was like, so much has changed from 2021 Ropo to 2024 Ropo. Funnily enough, in this video, I'm not just gonna be talking about the mundane, like very obvious things that you think I'm gonna talk about. Like, for example, weight loss, better skin, better hair, more energy, more sleep, less pain. All that stuff comes with it, that's all great. But I'm gonna be talking about the stuff that's deeper, a little bit deeper than that. We're gonna take it up a notch. Things that I've noticed about my mind that has changed. Things that I've noticed about my spirit, my energy, my thoughts. So many different things. But anyway, let me stop rambling and let me just get on with it because I've been talking for a while. The first thing I've noticed about myself that has changed since eating more plants. This one is, I don't know about you, but I was an avid podcast listener, right? I would listen to the UK podcast. I'm sure you guys know which ones I'm talking about. The Bait UK podcast. And I didn't realize the impact it was having on my mind. Even though I knew in the back of my mind, I'm hearing these things, but I'm not necessarily agreeing with what they're saying. But at the same time, I keep listening to it. And I would just take in all the information like a sponge. And I didn't realize how much of a negative impact it was having on my mindset when it came to not just life, but relationship, morals, standards, just things that, yeah, I didn't realize it was impacting my life. So I stopped listening to, and this wasn't a decision that was just overnight. It was just my spirit didn't take to it anymore. Like naturally, I just fell off like listening to these things. I still listen to a podcast. I've just changed the type of people that I listen to. So my ear gates and my eye gates have changed completely. Like there's certain things like when I hear it, I don't want to hear it. Like the minute I hear it, I'm turning it off. I don't even want to hear it. Things I see, like I don't watch certain things that I used to watch anymore because it doesn't agree with my spirit. And that's another point. Since going plant-based, I feel like I'm more in touch with my spirit, man. It definitely brought me closer to God. And it might sound insane to some people. It's like, how is food gonna bring you closer to God? But it really, really did. I can't explain it until you start doing it for yourself. I can't explain that feeling. It just did. Naturally, I felt more in tune with my spirit. I felt more in tune with God. I felt like I definitely heard from God many, many times in 2023. And I felt like a lot of that had to do with the way I changed it had to do with me reading my Bible and praying, but also had to do with my diet, in my opinion. I feel like the more in tune with nature you are, the more in tune with God you are. This was just me. I don't know, it might be different for everybody else, but me, the more I was eating these foods, the less I wanted to do worldly, sinful things. And I still have that sin nature in me. It doesn't go away. Like, we are born into this. Thanks, Eve. Thanks to Eve. She said, yeah, you're going to live with this forever and ever. But I'm less inclined and I have more accountability and I think twice more. Another one is listening to pointless podcasts that don't edify me, don't add anything to my spirit, don't teach me anything. If anything, it's bringing me away from my goal. I stopped watching a lot of content creators that I used to watch. And this is no shade on anyone. I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone. I'm not saying that they are beneath me or, they're not good people or anything like that. No, they're great people. But I just felt like, again, my spirit didn't naturally yield to that type of rhetoric anymore. I feel like once you start eating a certain way and moving your body and changing your mindset, you just naturally have more self-love. And in having that self-love, there's certain things you have more boundaries. There's certain things you just don't let in. So for me, it was just more so again, is this teaching me anything that I need to know that's like edifying my spirit? Is this helping me get to the place that I need to go? Or am I just endlessly, aimlessly scrolling and listening to things that are not even teaching? So it was pointless. I feel like social media, you feel the need to keep up with people's lives so much that you completely forget about your own life and what's going on in your life. So it sounds so mean, but I just don't care. I care more about myself and what's going on in here than seeing what other people are doing. So for me, it was just more so, I just fell off it. Another thing that I stopped doing was listening to worldly music. I'm sure you guys saw the viral TikToks. It was this time last year actually that I spoke about the music industry, Afro beats, worldly music, demonic, satanic, all that kind of stuff. And as much as people want us to be like, oh, you're reaching, you know, it's not that deep, that's your own. Like, do as you please. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. Do as you please. But me, like I said, I was hearing more things. I feel like I was hearing from God more. And for me, naturally, those things just didn't sit well with me. Like, I'll be singing some songs and I'm just hearing what they're saying and I'm just like, no ma'am. Absolutely not. So like I said, I'm very careful what I put in my ear gates and what I put in my eye gates. So there's certain music that I just don't adhere to anymore. That's not to say that I don't listen to music anymore. I do. But do I listen to the same things that I used to listen to? Not as much. Do I enjoy music the same way I used to? Not as much, because I'm hearing things for what they are rather than just listening to the beat and just dancing and just, you know, I'm more aware. I don't listen to as much Afrobeats. That doesn't mean I don't listen to Afrobeats. I do, but I listen to the ones where I know what they're saying and I know that the intention behind the song. Like for example, I can listen to Olufumi, oh my bad, that kind of vibe where I know, okay, this is about love, it's chilled, it's vibe. But where I'm hearing all sorts of things that I shouldn't be hearing, absolutely not. I do listen to old school music. I listen to R&B because I love R&B. It's soulful, it's, you know, it's nice. I listen to a lot of instrumental R&B, soulful music, jazz, just chilled, like things that are just in a mellow mood. I listen to Yoruba praise and worship because it's actually lit. Like I'll put a link down below of the 2-hour Yoruba praise and worship that I listen to at the gym sometimes. Like it's a vibe, like your dance, it's still giving you the vibe of Afrobeats, but they're glorifying God, you know? So for me, that's just my thing. I don't drink as much alcohol. To the point, I like to say as much because I did drink in Dubai, but I can count on one hand, literally twice, how many times I drank in Dubai. So yeah, with the alcohol thing, I was never really into alcohol like that anyway. I kind of drank in social settings. Like I don't really enjoy drinking like that. So it wasn't exactly hard for me to stop drinking. For me, it's more, again, like, what's the purpose? Like, is it edifying me or is it harming me? When you drink alcohol, you are intoxicated, which means it's full of toxins. And for me, it's just like, why am I willingly putting toxins in my body? And then not just that, when I drink alcohol, I'm not in control of my mind. I'm not in control of what I say, what I do, and I don't like that. So that was just an easy one for me. I don't swear as much. And you know what? I never realized how much I swore until I stopped swearing. Like, first of all, it's unladylike. Like for you to be F-bombing, S-bombing, if you're not able to construct a full sentence without using the F word or the S word or the whatever else word in between, it kind of shows your level of education sometimes. And I don't want people to look at me like I'm uneducated. Also, it doesn't align with my lifestyle. So it doesn't make sense for me to say I'm Christian. That doesn't mean I'm Christian, I'm godly, and, you know, I'm so righteous and I don't do this, I don't do that. If you're Christian, you still fall short. Like, nobody's perfect. But you can't be saying I'm a Christian and using the name of God and Christ and Jesus, and then also saying the S word, the P word, the F word, whatever else. So for me, it was just more so, it didn't go with the brand. It doesn't go with the brand. I really thought it was just the norm to swear. In my teenage years, in my early 20s, even up to my late 20s, I swore a lot and I didn't even realize it, but I really, really swore a lot. So I rolled that back a lot because it's not cute. Like, imagine you are in a dress, you look gorgeous, and then you're now saying S, and you're now saying F, and you're now saying C. It just looks, it don't go together. So yeah, I had to stop that. I stopped entertaining just anybody. So when I say that, I mean my boundaries and my self-love increased significantly. because I realized that, like, as much as I'm still learning and I'm growing into loving myself, it's not completely there, but it's way better than I used to be. Like, I really didn't love myself like that, and I didn't know because the way I behave was just normal to me. But a lot of like what we learn and what we pick up during childhood comes with us in adulthood, and it's so subconscious to the point where you don't even know that you're doing it. So there were a lot of things that I just let slide, or let people say, or let people treat me in a certain way. But now I question things. I'm not as easily led. I don't just let anybody in. I really like gauge, analyze the people that are around me, and I'm just more cautious of myself and my surroundings, because I realize that can have a good impact on your mental health. Yeah, and it's just been great. Like, I feel like once you make the decision to love yourself, and that just, it sounds really sloppy and like, ugh, whatever, but like really and truly, once you make the decision to love yourself, and that can mean in any way that you see it. For me, it's eating good, it's going to the gym, it's reading my Bible, it's praying, it's having a vision, it's having focus, it's having drive, it's having integrity, it's knowing where to draw the line with things, it's holding myself accountable, things like that. That, for me, that's self-love. And those things, once you start doing those things or incorporating those things in your life, it's harder for you to just let anyone in, one, and it's harder for you to just let things slide, because you're just like, like, do you know whom I am? Definitely brought more boundaries into my life, and that, if that means cutting people off, then snip, snip. Another thing that I've stopped doing, as you guys know, is wearing deodorant. So this one is a bit, not controversial, but I stopped wearing deodorant probably a year and a half or so ago. And when I mean deodorant, I just mean like literally the stuff in the can or the roll-on, or, you know, the stuff that you spray. I don't use artificial things under my armpits anymore. So what I do use, I'll leave the video somewhere so you guys can see it. I use lime because it's natural. It doesn't have all the chemicals. It doesn't have one main thing that's in deodorant. I just can't think of it off the top of my head, but it doesn't have all these things in it that can harm you. So lime, what it basically does, it kills the bacteria and it takes away odor. So I don't smell. And because I eat more fruits and whole foods, my BO, or my natural body scent, is not stinky. It doesn't smell bad, you know? So yeah, I don't wear deodorant anymore. But what I have noticed from not wearing deodorant, which I don't like it, I've noticed that my armpits are starting to get darker. And in the video that I did, I said that it lightens up your armpit. I'm not sure if it's because I use lime on my armpits, or because I actually, like before, I used to squeeze the lime in a bottle and spray it under my armpits. But lately, it goes off really quickly. So I just normally just get the lime, cut it, and just scrub it under, and I'm good to go. But I think over time, it has been darkening my armpits a little bit. So I'm a bit in two minds about that. That doesn't mean to say I'm gonna go back to deodorant, no, but I need to find a balance. I need to find something that works, that's not making my armpits worse. But I did notice that when they started getting darker is when I used a natural deodorant. I was sent a natural deodorant and I used it maybe like 4 times. I think I even mentioned it in the video, but I think once I started using that natural deodorant is when my armpits just went dark. And since then, they haven't reverted back, because I was definitely wearing lime under my armpits before using that deodorant, and they were like, my armpits were fine. But after using that specific deodorant, I noticed that my armpits just went dark and it just wasn't going back. So it might have been that deodorant, it might have been the lime, I don't know. But I'm definitely not gonna stop wearing lime underneath my armpits, because the benefits are just insane. Like I can't knock it. But the only thing I can say is that, is it making my armpits darker? I don't know. So I have to come back and report that to you, because I'm not completely sure. I'm probably gonna start using more baking soda with the lime to scrub it when I'm taking a shower, or I'm gonna like wear a mask underneath. We'll just see how it works. I'm gonna experiment, see how it works, and then probably report back to you guys. So yeah, now moving on to the things that I've started doing, or the things that I've adopted since eating more plants. And like I said, this is not the obvious eating well, going to the gym, all that kind of stuff, moving my body. It's not the obvious stuff. It's the more deeper stuff that I've adopted since literally making decisions to change my life. So the main one for me, like I mentioned previously, was I feel like since eating more natural foods that come from the earth, that are living, that are raw, I have drawn myself closer to God. And this isn't necessarily just from eating those foods. I met my pastor in, when was it? April 2022. And it was just by accident. I do think it was divine coincidence. I don't think it was just like a coincidence. Because that woman has really changed my life and changed my perspective on Christ and salvation in so many ways that I probably wouldn't have known if it wasn't for things just aligning well at that time in my life. So I've drawn way more closer to God, which I've never, like, it's so crazy because obviously like I grew up in the church. I went to church every Sunday. Like it wasn't like I wasn't into God, but I wasn't really into God, if that makes sense. Like for example, now I'm reading my Bible more. Like when I was in my in my 20s, I read my Bible, but it would be whenever I needed God for something. It won't be just because. It will just be, oh, I'm in trouble now. I need to pass my exams. Let me pray. It wasn't, do you know what I mean? It wasn't genuine. It wasn't like I was seeking a relationship. It was more so I was kind of using God, basically. I was kind of like, when I'm in trouble, okay, let me pray. Oh, when something is going wrong, let me pray, let me read my Bible. But this is more of a daily occurrence to me now. Like I'm very intentional about the time I spend with God. I'm very intentional about reading my Bible. I'm very intentional about praying because I feel like ever since I've been doing that, I've noticed things shift in my life. Things just align. And that's not to say my life is perfect. Like I said, 2023 was bass bus, but I feel like if I didn't have God, it would have been bass bus. Like it would have been bass bus. So literally that was the only thing that held me and kept me going. I think that coupled with me choosing to change my life, moving my body, like get up, do things, like see life. Like I feel like that coupled with the way I eat, definitely, I don't know what it is, but it just does something. It really does. Like for example, when I fast, and this is not even fasting for religious reasons, this is just fasting because I know that I've eaten things that I'm not supposed to eat. Like I said, I'm not completely plant-based, I'm not completely vegan. I definitely dip, but it's not consistent dipping, if that makes sense. Like for the most part, 80% of my diet is fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains. But there's times where I'm in social settings that I might eat something that I wouldn't normally eat. But anyway, I've just forgotten my point, which is really annoying. Damn it. Let me go back and look. I've looked back now. So I was talking about fasting. So when I fast, most of the time when I fast, I'm not fasting for religious reasons. I'm fasting because I know that I've eaten certain things that shouldn't be in my body and I'm trying to eliminate those things. So the quickest and, well, healthiest, we've been taught it's unhealthy, but that's another story for another day. The quickest and healthiest way to eliminate those foods is to fast. So I fast regularly. I fast probably about once a month. But it depends. Sometimes I do a 2-day fast, sometimes I do a week fast, sometimes I do 9 days. The most I've done is 10 days. I intend to do 2 weeks, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I fast regularly. There's times I do intermittent fasting every day without even realizing I'm doing so. But that's the quickest way to heal your body. But when I fast, like I said, I don't fast religiously. I just fast because of like physical and body reasons, like to flush my insides out. But I've realized in that time of fasting, I don't know, because I don't want to be like coming across preachy, but this is just genuinely real life. Like in that time of fasting, my mindset changes. Like I'm more alert. I see things differently. I hear things differently. I genuinely think I hear from God. There's been times where I'm fasting, not because of religious reasons, I'm just not eating food because, like I said, I'm eliminating foods from my body. And in that time, as usual, I'm praying or I'm reading the word, but I read it in a different way. Like I understand it in a different way. I see things differently. And things that I have seen or read really come to pass, like not long after. It's insane. Like the first time it happened, I said, this is, no, God, this is a little scary now. Happened again. I said, I live by myself. It's too scary. Like I can't even describe it. It's just weird, but in a good way. And then not just that. So my pastor introduced me, which I never in my life thought that this could ever happen to me. But my pastor introduced me to praying in tongues. When I started praying in tongues, the things that I started seeing, let's just say God really exists. Like when I was younger, I knew God existed because that's just like as a kid, you're pure. Like you don't have anything that's damaged your mindset. So I always knew God existed, but there's been times in my life where I'm like, does it really exist? Because all this stuff that's going on in the world, all this. But now there's been too many clear visions, not necessarily visions, but there's been too many clear signs for me to just ignore it. Like, there's no way there's no God. Like, there's absolutely no way there's no God. My mindset has changed. My spiritual being has changed. I'm more patient. Before, I used to think I was a patient person, but people have told me, which I now realize, that I'm very impatient. I was very impatient. Like, I want things done now, like at my time, but now I'm more patient, I'm more relaxed. I react to things differently. So for example, I've had loads of issues with my flat last year, and it's still happening this 2024. The flat just came and said boss again, but I react differently because I don't need to be crying and I don't need to be stressed out, because what is that gonna solve? Like, I literally just, okay, this has happened. What's the solution? Calm down. How are we gonna fix this? It's not as like, oh God, I'm not calling people crying and say, oh, this happened. Like, I'm just more zen. Literally, I'm just more zen. When I drink a green juice, I feel relaxed. Like, I can't just, until you guys start, I'm not trying to convince anyone. Do you eat how you want? Like, genuinely no judgment. Because I was once there. Like, I used to eat like it was going out of fashion. I ate like a thief. Like, I was big in 2020. Yeah, I just feel zen, I feel relaxed. When I eat a salad, I feel light, I feel good. Like, compared to, sorry, I need to sneeze. Compared to if I would eat like a massive, and don't get me wrong, I love these foods. I love these foods. If I eat a massive bowl of pounded jam and egusi, there's a certain slug that comes after. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm tired. And I've noticed that physically and mentally that things just change. Like, my body doesn't move as well. I'm in pain, not as vibrant. Ever since eating this way, I'm able to, I know my body so good. Like, I know exactly what I shouldn't be eating. I know exactly what I should be eating. I know what my body reacts to. Like, for example, I was able to discern that I'm allergic to shellfish, but that's because of the way I was eating. Like, I just knew, like, I knew that my body doesn't agree with this thing for a long time in my life. Whenever I'll eat like, the Nigerian soups, for example, egusi, efo. Sometimes I wouldn't get a reaction, sometimes I will. But I didn't know it's because of how much crayfish or how much prawns or just shellfish in general was in the soup. So I remember there was a time in my life, I was like 18, and my grandma, she makes the best Nigerian food. And she used to make us egusi all the time. And I would just wake up with this big cocoa on my head, and I never understood why. I never took an allergy test. But now, as a grown adult in my 30s, it's only now that I'm realizing it's shellfish. So you just know your body better. For example, when I started this journey, I used to juice a lot of pineapple, and it didn't really do much to me. But there was one day that I realized my body doesn't take well to pineapples, because I started getting a lot of heartburn. I used to eat kiwis when I first started. I realized my body doesn't like kiwis. So everyone is different. Or even peanuts. Like, I used to eat a lot of nuts because they say protein, whatever. So I used to eat loads of nuts to try and gain a bit of weight for protein and all that kind of stuff. But now I know what nuts I can eat and what nuts I can't eat. So peanuts, for example, breaks me out. So I remember there was a time when, I think it was even 2022, I used to make a lot of like smoothies and put peanut butter or almond butter in it. And I would wake up with spots all over my forehead, like dot to dot all over my forehead. And I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm eating good. I've eliminated all the crazy foods. Like, why am I getting spots? But it was because of the peanuts. So you just learn yourself. Like, you learn your body. You learn what you like, what you don't like. You learn how your body reacts to things. It's one thing to know things, it's another thing to apply it. So if you know better, you do better, like I said. So I stopped eating peanuts, I stopped eating almonds, or I would reduce it significantly. There's stuff that I wouldn't add because I know that, okay, this thing doesn't agree with me. Let me just stay away. As much as it tastes good, it doesn't feel good. So let me just stay away from that. Another one that's changed is my confidence. Okay, so I was always confident-ish, but I haven't been this confident in a while. I changed the way I appear to people. I've realized that the way you speak and the way you dress and the way you present yourself really does have an impact on how people treat you. So I'm using that to my advantage. I dress differently now. I don't dress crazy anymore. I didn't used to dress that crazy, but some of the things I used to wear were a bit questionable. So there was a time where, again, I had two full suitcases worth of clothes. I said, this is going in the bin, but I didn't really put them in the bin. I donated them to charity, but I got rid of a lot of my clothes because the way I was dressed, and I said, child, I had to just question myself. I just got rid of a lot of my clothes, and yeah, I present myself way better now. Yeah, so with that comes confidence. You look good, you feel good, you know. I don't go into things with apprehension. I go into things with confidence now, you know? And that's not to say I do everything with confidence. There's things that I'm probably not as confident to approach, but I know that if I change the way I look at it, it can definitely create a different outcome. So yeah, confidence is a big one. Like, until you do it, you wouldn't know. Like, the more you start to incorporate these things in your life, the more you start to see, I like me, like, I'm kind of cool, like, okay. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna title it yet, but that's pretty much it. If you want me to do physical changes I've seen in myself, then definitely leave me a comment. I'll probably film that another time. Just the physical changes I've noticed in my body, just things that I've noticed changed. But this was more, like I said, the more internal things, the more things that people don't necessarily see with an open eye, but I've definitely felt since changing my lifestyle. So again, this is not me preaching to you guys to eat more plants. If you want to do that, fantastic. I wish you would. If you don't want to do that, then God bless you. I'm not holding judgment. I think when I first came into this, I was so vim about like plants. It came across a bit like judgmental. I've definitely changed the way I approach it now. I'm not judging anyone. I'm not saying that this is the right way, whatever, but this is what works for me. And I don't see myself going back to the other way anytime soon, if not ever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it's encouraged you, and yeah, definitely let me know what you guys want to see in 2024 from my channel. I'm thinking of doing like a come food shopping with me kind of vibe. I'm also thinking of doing like a women's health kind of talk, sit down video, like things I've noticed about like my women's health, my periods, cramps. Basically, I don't have cramps anymore, but you know, all that kind of stuff. Ooh, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see that, definitely leave a comment down below. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. And definitely check out my other health videos if you need help with like juicing or what to eat, Nigerian recipes, stuff like that. All that good stuff is going to be in the cards, and it's also going to be down below in the description box. But yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. Bye guys. Mwah.